Good evening. We
And
are talking about your book, The Revolutionaries Shed Their Blood for India's Independence, Part 2,
and
by Justice S N Aggarwal, former
and
Judge Punjab and Haryana High Court.
and
So, today we will start with the trial of soldiers of Indian National Army. But
and
before that, I mean, you want to say something about Bhagat Singh ji. So,
about Netaji.
sorry, about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
And
So you may kindly start.
uh, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was never given a proper place by the rulers after independence. It was the first time that Prime Minister Modi decided that the Independence Republic Day would start from 23 January onwards. Republic Day is 26th January. They said it would start from 23 January. For 4 days, it would be celebrated a Republic Day, including the day of birth date of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and hologram statue of Netaji was affixed on under the canopy near India in India Gate on January 23, 2022 by PM Modi. So the conclusion ultimately is that revolutionaries, the main idea was the patriotism on which they concentrated for making sacrifices, that to promote the patriotism among the youth of India. And as Sardar Patel had said, that communal harmony, patriotism, moral values, high character, and discipline. So these were the main things. And while parting with the chapter of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, I have written that as if the revolutionary were saying to us, अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों.
Mhm. And what do you mean by patriotism?
Patriotism means that nation is above everything.
Okay.
Even if I
And
have to sacrifice my personal interest or
mhm.
the interest of my parents, and nation has to be given preference.
And there is a saying in our Indian culture that
Huh.
entire Vishwa is our home or something like that.
Huh. Kutum kum. Kutum.
Kutambukam, Kutukam.
Huh.
So does that match with this
No,
patriotism?
no, no, no. That's a
Mhm.
separate theory that we consider the whole world as one family.
Mhm.
But out of one family, if your member is India is one member, then you have first of all think of your country. As
Mhm.
now Prime Minister Modi is doing, although America is saying not to purchase diesel and petrol, kacha petrol from Russia, but Modi said no. For my country, purchase of petrol is more material than your dictate to us. Don't
Mhm.
purchase it. So
Mhm.
nation first.
Mhm.
We have to like this. All these people who are do hera fairy and crime against a woman or so and so, these things are all eliminated by the word patriotism.
Right.
Uh,
So next is trial of soldiers of Indian National Army.
huh. It is
So
a very interesting part.
mm,
We have started with this that there were about 2.5 million soldiers, Indian
okay,
soldiers, who were either in the Navy or Air Force or in the Army, who were fighting for the British. And they
okay.
were considering 26,000 INS soldiers who had died while fighting under the leadership of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose for the freedom of the country when they were uh, fighting in Imphal, in Burma, and attaining independent more areas of India. So they considered that these are our heroes, they are martyrs for us. And so they told the people, British leaders, that either you, next para is that 78 ships, out of 78 ships, there were 20,000 soldiers, naval forces. They rose against the British Empire. They told him to speak Jai Hind, otherwise he would be thrown in the sea. So situation had become very serious for them. But ultimately, these British people, they had caught hold of one. There is one Budhwar, Captain Hari Budhwar. He narrated to the British leader that how Nehru misbehaved with the INA soldiers, and the name of the person INA soldier is on page 260, where these 7 persons, namely Captain Shah Nawaz, Captain P.K. Saigal, Lieutenant General Gurbakh Singh Dhillon, Captain Burhanuddin, uh, and Subedar Shingara Singh, Jamadar Fateh and Captain Abdul Rashid, they were brought for trial in Delhi. Lal Killa, the trial was to take place, and uh, these forces had become hostile to the British Empire. And when some they made inquiries to see what is the land on the civilian also reported that if you kill even one soldier of INA, they will kill 100 British dogs. Dogs means British people who were abused as dogs. So ultimately, they wrote to their authorities, higher authorities in London, and then Minister of State to Prime Minister Attlee, and Prime Minister Attlee sought the permission of the king there to leave India. It is also mentioned on page 257 that when British Prime Minister Attlee visited India in 1956, he admitted before P.V. Chakravarti, Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court, he said that Bose and his INA were principal factors that brought the curtain down on the empire. So these were the people, these are the reasons which uh, by which the independence was achieved by Indians.
And still he considered Bose as war criminal.
Hanji?
Still he considered Bose as war criminal.
No, the war criminal was considered only Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
So
And
and he,
this trial was left in between. It was not completed, nor any of them was sentenced. But Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was a war criminal for them. And even Nehru wrote a letter to the British people that your war criminal is in Russia. So we have discussed that Netaji was alive till 1985,
so
and he died.
so Nehru ji accepted that Mr. Bose is in Russia.
हाँ,
Acha, he knew
it
about
was
this.
1948 or somewhere.
Acha, okay. So
Well, not in,
that means he believed that he did not die in
yes,
air crash.
the simple thing is this, which proves that Netaji had not died, that Nehru continued keeping vigilance over the family of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, uh, including Indira Gandhi. And they used to receive whatever correspondence was exchanged, they used to classify and keep it secret. These documents were disclosed only by this Mamta in 2016 and Modi Sahab in uh, 2017 on 23 January. So the very fact that the Nehru was keeping vigilance over family, Netaji family, clearly proved that Nehru believed that he is alive.
And he also believed that if he told that Bose is alive, then his prime ministership could be at risk.
Hanji?
Did Nehru believe that
हाँ,
if he declared that Bose is alive,
हाँ जी.
his prime ministership could be in danger?
It could be. Supposing Netaji was alive as Gumnami Baba, once he had exposed himself, the Nehru family would have gone. The
Hmm.
people, Netaji was a hero for the Indians.
Hmm. And he would have become the prime minister or
Yes,
whatever.
yes, yes.
So
That is
that, so
why
that.
Netaji didn't disclose. Now
Hmm.
we can discuss chapter 22 also.
Hmm.
These shows how after independence we misbehaved as if independence has been achieved by Mahatma Gandhi and Nehru and all these people. And this chapter shows how corrupt we were, had become after the British went away. Should we start the next chapter 22?
Yes, yes.
So this was this that on January 12, 1948, uh, Mahatma Gandhi had received two letters from Andhra Congress people.
Hmm.
And on 13th evening, after the post prayer, he made a disclosure of those two letters. The letters disclose that, and it was published in the newspaper on 14th January. So they say that Congress people have lost all moral values. They are thinking that they should make hay when the sun is bright. And there was factionalism in the Congress. They were even interfering in the working of the courts because executive magistrates used to hold the courts in those days. And Mahatma Gandhi then felt very sorry about it. He told that Sardar Patel had come to him and he could not speak to him because he was busy in the integration of the princely states. Uh, and his PA was also busy. So this shows how the Congress people had become looters in place of Britishers. They had become British black for
Or
black
brown, or brown,
for, for brown
brown.
in looting
Uh,
the purpose.
mhm.
So the situation in chapter 23 is also the same leadership, same situation. Uh, we can discuss that after independence, although Sardar Patel had got maximum 12 votes out of 15 Congress committees, but Mahatma Gandhi made Nehru as the prime minister. So,
And when Mr. Nehru was declared prime minister
Hanji,
and Congress was there, so
Hanji.
were there any leaders in Congress who had made sacrifices for freedom struggle?
But question is this, they had not even made a single, they were simply in the jail, getting all the facilities at their home. And Nehru wrote in the jail Discovery of India कि हमारा भारत कितना महान था. When after he became the prime minister, for him the family became the great. He was to go to Ajmer
Hmm.
to check the clashes between Muslims and Hindus. But because his daughter Indira Gandhi in Allahabad had fallen ill, he went to Allahabad to tend to her letter and send his secretary to Ajmer. And Sardar Patel, when he came to know of it, he objected to it. Okay, what is this? When I have made a statement, as Home Minister has made a statement that the situation is under control, your PA, super Home Minister, super PM, that he is watching the situation after my statement. So Nehru objected to it. Nehru wrote a letter to Mahatma Gandhi on 7th January that we cannot go together and leave it. And Sardar Patel also replied to that letter that Nehru is behaving like a dictator. He doesn't consult the cabinet and doesn't take the decision unanimously. What is the democracy we are living in? Ultimately, when Mahatma Gandhi made up the mind to release Sardar Patel from the government, he consulted General Mountbatten on 12 January or 13 January 1948. Sardar Mountbatten said, if Sardar Patel goes out of the jail, out of the government, this would be the biggest blunder of your life, Mr. Gandhi. Then Gandhi became soft on Sardar.
And when do you think the democracy roots have taken or have gained strength in India? By in which year democracy roots have taken strength?
Whereas in my opinion, it was only in 2014 that the democracy took the strong decision. Otherwise, there was a family rule throughout the country, throughout previous years.
But the opposition says that Modi is also behaving like a dictator.
They say that because they are unable to earn, which they were earning illegally.
Mhm.
Even I have mentioned in chapter 23, this chapter which is before us, that when UPA government of Manmohan Singh government was there, 10 lakh crore amount from the PM relief fund was added to Rajiv Gandhi Foundation
Mhm.
out of the PM relief fund,
Mhm.
which
Right.
is meant for the poor and the victim people.
Mhm.
So this is stopped. That is why they are saying, even Rahul Gandhi, I have quoted in this chapter, that he called that Modi had acquired uh, all the departments of the government, and what America is doing about it. I said that I mentioned that we throughout the British foreign rulers, and he is inviting the foreign rulers. He
Mhm.
asking his America that what he is doing to stop Modi from misusing his powers. Batao.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
think.
Right.
I have mentioned in this chapter.
Okay. So that we will discuss in the next episode.
So this chapter is now over virtually. But
Okay.
because one thing more, when in 1958, on December 13 and 14, All India Revolutionaries Conference was taking place in Delhi. So Nehru called them for a cup of tea. They decided to meet the PM. And Son Singh Pakna, who had undergone imprisonment in cellular jail, he knew how they were behaved by the British rulers. And he told Nehru by catching his arm that everywhere you are telling the people that I have got independence without shedding a drop of blood. What kind of shed you want? You ask from us how the blood is shed. So Nehru was silenced. The photo is given here in the at page 2.
Right, sir.
So
Thank you.
thank you, ji, thank you.